Another collection that we have is sets. Now, if you don't get an idea about what is a set, now please try to remember your high school days or your university days where you learned something about the sets. One set is equal to another set or not, maybe they are intersecting, or sometimes there is a weird circle intersecting another weird circle, some common area between them. Yes, exactly, that's what I'm talking about. That's the set. So let's talk about how do we define sets, how does set helps us, and all of these. Now, first of all, you can store exactly the same information as you can store in the array, but in case the order is not important for you, then for sure you can use the sets out there. Now, just for all those people who are already into the programming and to the Swift, that if you're using the set, make sure that it has a hash value out there and it's comparable out there. So it is just out there. Now, for all those guys, come back and just don't remember anything that I talked about there. Now, sets do follow all the things out there, like you must have studied out there, like reflexivity, the symmetricity, transitivity, and all of those. In case you don't remember, you don't need to remember that exactly, because I know many of us don't remember that. So let's just call this as my sets, or let me declare it a variable. So it's gonna be saying my sets. And how do we define a set? So you just call set out there, and that's pretty much it. Now, in these angular braces or angular parentheses, you define what you want to have, like characters or integers or whatever you wish to have, and followed by a pair of parentheses. Now, my set is now a set which is empty basically. So if I do want to print or just want to count how many characters are there inside it, it's gonna simply give me as 0. So I can do a my sets dot count, and it will, with no surprises, it will give me 0. So it still is processing, and we can see there is a 0. Of course there will be /n because I'm using a print out there. So let's try to insert something, and we have similar options just like array. So we have my sets dot append option, append, and why it's not working, because it's an insert. I just forgot that. Oops. And there we go. So what new member you would like to add here? Let's just call this A, so because we are having a character here. So let me just run this. It's saying keep running, and there we go, it says true this time, and the first element is actually A out there. So we did insert something inside it, so that's pretty awesome. Now there are a couple of more ways by which you can actually add values into it. So let's just call this as, again, my planets. I'm quite a fan of planets. You might be thinking, yes, I'm a nature guy, I do like that. And let's just call this as, this is gonna be a set of strings. So let me just have the string here, and then I can actually have an array here. So let me just have my same array from the last movie, and it's gonna be Pluto, and separated by comma, it's gonna be Earth, and let's call the Mars as well. I hope I'm not going to Mars anytime soon. Okay, so there we go, we have an array which is out there. But again, in this case, the order doesn't really matter, because sets can have any order, and surprisingly you can see that Earth is the first element, while in the case of array, the sequence does matter, the index does matter. And even if you loop throughout there, it can be anything, it's just randomly out there. And there we go. So defining it is really easy. And in case you want to perform a count on it, so you can say my planet dot count. So that's pretty easy, that's pretty obvious. You might already be familiar with that from the last movie. And we do have option of checking out if the my planet is empty or not, similar option that you might have already seen discussing me out there. So just like that. And a simple exercise for you, just try to use the keyword .insert and try to insert one more planet out there. It's really easy. Now let me show you that there are a couple of other things that you can do with these kinds of things. Like for example, I want to use a if keyword out there, and I want to perform a check out there. So I want to check if my planet contains some member, like for example Earth, let's just say. Oops. Okay, let's just say Earth. And there we go. And I would like to add a code here, and the code is going to say just print me a value that Earth is present, just like that. Okay, it's gonna give me that because Earth is present, but in case, let's just see something else. Let's just say Saturn is missing. So it's gonna not work because Saturn is not present. And there we go, Earth is present. So yes, you can do a check for the contains element or not. And finally, let's just do a looping on the planet. So how do we loop it? And I would say just pause my video and try it out. Yes, you can do it. It's pretty easy. In case you missed that out, let me just have a for statement for you. For planet in my planets. And what you want to have, let's just print the planets. And again, since the order is not important, it is going to just produce values in any random order. In this case, it says Earth, Mars and Pluto. But there is an interesting thing. You can apply order of sorting it based on the alphabetic things, and it is gonna sort the things for me. Once it says running, now it says Earth, Mars and Pluto. So it has sorted out based on the alphabets E, M and P. So yes, these kinds of things are present out there. Now, since we are talking about the sets do perform some of the operations like intersection, the symmetric difference, union and subtracting. And let's just say A and B are two circles intersecting a little part out there. Intersection will give you an intersection, symmetric difference will give you all of the things apart from intersection, so rest of everything of the intersection. Union gives you everything, and subtraction gives you just the element in one set, removing all the others as well. So let's get an example for that. Okay, so let's just say let odd is going to be my set. So there we go, odd is gonna be a set, and it's gonna have an array of the values of odd values. So let's just say 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Oops, I need a comma. There we go. And let's have one more, and this is gonna be even, and again this is gonna be a set, and it's gonna again have an array of the values, not array as the value, but this is a syntax just. So let's just say 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. There we go. Okay, now you can perform operations on that. Just like I told you, there is a union. Like for example, I can say odd dot union, and then you can mention the others as well. So let's just say I want to union it with the even. There we go. And in a moment we will notice a thing that union gives us all the things. So let's just see, and here we can see 8, 2, 9, 4. So all the elements are present, but they are not in order, so I can make them in sorted, and everything will be present in the sorted order now within a minute guys. And there we go, so everything is present. So just like that. And as a simple assignment, I will give you just try out what does the intersection does, what does the subtracting does, and what does the symmetric difference does. So just to make sure that all of these are present, let me show you that what are those. So odd dot, we have first of all the intersection, and there we go, this is intersection, so it is present. And there is subtracting, there is a subtracting, not the subtract, it's subtracting. So these are two different out there. And the last one we have got symmetric difference as well. So do try out, and I've already mentioned what each of them does, but I want you to find out. And yes, we can check out for the membership and equality and all of these, but that is going to be a task for when we'll be designing the apps and things like that. So right now I think this is pretty good and completely okay for you. So do complete the assignment, and I'll just write here assignment is there. So just post out your screenshots or what everything does, just write it in your own words, and that's gonna be a simple assignment for you.